Today we will be talking about the whale sharks in the South Ari Atoll, and we have Romney from Boutique Beach, which she owns and runs a small dive shop there, and we have Chloe from the Maldives Whale Shark Research Programme to tell you all about the beautiful animals they can see out there. In other news, it's great to see some familiar faces, or not faces, sorry, attendees on our talks. And also great news from the government this week about the travel news and the testing, which makes us all comfortable with travelling a little bit further for longer to nice warm places. I, for one, would love to go and see the whale sharks in the South Ari Atoll. And I know some of you on the call have seen them. In fact, Romney was swimming with them only this morning, I believe. Romney, is that right?
Yeah, very lucky.
Awesome. You've been busy over the Christmas period, Romney, with full house?
Been very busy. We've been full, and it's been multitudinous amounts of different nations. We've just had some Brits arrive just now who got the news about the travel and immediately booked and came straight away. We've had a lot of repeaters who are desperate, hanging on, not being able to dive for nearly 2 years, and all came just before Christmas. So we have been very busy, but it's been great. It's been a really good time for diving and a really good time for whale sharks, especially. We've got a lot around at the moment. Chloe will tell you she's been trying to identify them all.
I have been very, very jealous trying to ID everyone's amazing encounters of feeding sharks and interacting sharks. So yeah, happy for you, but sad for me. But it's okay. The universe will give us a great whale shark encounter next season. Not season, but next few months.
And we all know, well, the lucky ones of us who have had a whale shark encounter, and for some of you on the call, that can be a life-changing experience. The best days of your life, in fact, I believe we've had quoted at us. So thank you for that, and thank you for you guys for helping find the population so people can have that magical encounter.
One of our guests described it the other day as a historic day. Historic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, just makes me all excited. Brilliant. I think we'll get the ball rolling, everybody. So we're going to start with a short video, and Romney's going to talk about the island and the resort and the diving. We'll then come back to Chloe, who will teach you all a little bit about the whale shark population there and a few facts and figures, I believe. And then we'll come back and talk about the week that we have set up in April. We already have 6 people booked on, I believe, so there are a few more spots. And we'll talk about that exclusive package that we put together, staying at Boutique Beach and having Chloe on board, and basically do some diving and go and find some whale sharks. And a nice, immersive and very exciting experience for you all to get on board. Brilliant. Let me share my screen and hopefully this all works. And over to you, Romney. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Maldives from Boutique Beach. This is our hotel, and as you can see, this is our roof terrace where we have dinner at night under the stars. As you can see here, we're going towards the beach, and we show you how near we are to the beach. Slow, anyway. And this is one of our guests who took us all the way through the room, from his room to the beach. Dhigurah means Long Island, and as you can see here, we have 4 kilometers of sandy beach ending in a sandbank, and we have reefs on the side where you can snorkel during the afternoon. This is our very exciting new dive boat, 57 foot long, with freshwater showers, a full-size toilet, and lots of space. We're very excited because it's got a new engine and can get us around South Ari Atoll in really good time now. As you can see on the boat here, you've got plenty of space, and we've got our 2 captains, our boat guy who makes you tea and coffee after each dive. This is our lagoon, and between dives, we often snorkel with whatever's there, sometimes manta, sometimes whale sharks, sometimes dolphin. And it's just minutes away from our harbour, but really wonderful. This is a fantastic experience we had only this week. A whole load of whale sharks, 3 whale sharks and 5 mantas feeding on the plankton. There was a plankton bloom and we had them with us for over an hour. It was quite an amazing experience. And this is one of our pinnacle dives. So in between our island and the next island, there's a channel with 15 pinnacle dives in it. Many of them are some of the most famous dive sites in the Maldives, such as Dhigurah Island, Broken Rock, 5 Rocks and 7th Heaven, only 5 minutes away from our harbour. We also have many other 50 dive sites in the area, and all of them with fantastic life. Every night we meet after the diving and we discuss the day's activities, and we show you films such as this film, which we then post on YouTube that night so that you can share it with your friends and family. This is a bit like après-ski. This is our wreck coup de mar, which is only 20 minutes away from the island. This year we have had fantastic hard coral growth throughout the whole of South Ariatel, and you will be able to see that during your trip. These are the water bottles that we will give you to refill, and we have saved a lot of plastic by not having plastic bottles in our hotel anymore. We either have glass or refillable water bottles such as you can see there. We have 3 diving instructors, and our speciality is to make sure we stay with small dive groups of 4 or maximum 5, and we are there to look after your safety, but also to show you all of our wonderful marine life, from the smallest nudibranch to the largest whale shark. And here you are seeing one of our whale shark encounters, and Chloe will be joining us and going on dives and snorkel trips. We will be taking 3 or 4 days that week to go out only looking for whale sharks, where we will take lunch on board the boat. This is often a really great time to spot the whale sharks when nobody else is around. It gives us extra time. And here you have a whale shark pooping, which I know Chloe is delighted about, and she's going to be telling you all about when you come on the trip. Well, whale sharks are average 5 to 7 meters. They are adolescent and they are very curious. As you can see from this one, they will really come and look at you as long as people are not chasing them. They are very, very fascinated by humans and by bubbles. Very often they come along when you're on a dive and least expecting them, and they come up to you and have a good look at you as well as us looking at them. Most of the encounters we have in South Ariatel are snorkeling, but the best is when the whale shark comes up to us on the dive. And Chloe will be able to identify all of the whale sharks we see, and if we find any which are new whale sharks, there will be a competition amongst the people who are on the trip that week to name the whale shark, and this whale shark name will be translated into the Maldivian language. This is one of our very most famous dive sites, Dhigurah Island, which is covered in thousands of yellow snappers. Also, we have grey reef sharks, giant trevallies and tunas hunting. It's a very, very exciting dive. As you can see here, you get this wonderful flashing as the tunas and the other hunting fishes go into the smaller fishes. And you may really be lucky. In a minute, you're going to see a shot of one of the tunas and how they change colour when they're just about to start hunting. They go camouflage and checkered. And here we have everybody hanging out and watching the scene. So Dhigurah Island will definitely be on the agenda. This is one of the tunas showing the camouflage that they adopt just before they start attacking the smaller fish. It's not seen very often. So here's some good examples of fantastic coral life that we have in this area. We're very excited because hard corals have been growing over the last 2.5 years. We have a lot of wonderful soft corals, but to see the hard corals growing again is really great. If we're lucky and the weather's good, we will be taking you on a barbecue on our sandbank. And here's our chef, Shanti, and he cooks wonderful fresh fish and fresh food every day for us. Back to the hotel now, and we're just going to show you the restaurant area. So our restaurant area on the ground floor is where we have breakfast and lunch every day. That's it there, and we're looking straight out of the beach, so it's a really nice place with sandy floor. This is our rooftop restaurant where you'll have dinner at night under the stars. And here we have examples of shanties cooking, which is always changing from European, Asian, every day is different, but we can guarantee you lots of fresh fish and fresh fruit and vegetables. And here you can see the colour of our beautiful sea. Our rooms, 6 rooms only, are boutique style. We have open air showers with molten brown bathroom amenities. And we're very proud of our hotel, and we are all about service. We have extra staff so that we can give you extra service, and we look after you all very well while you're staying with us. This is our dive base, and we have bower compressor, we have gear for hire, and we can carry out lessons as well. This is one of our beautiful mantas feeding in the lagoon. And you can see, again, the mantas are coming to look at you very closely. They're very curious. They just want to look at you. And you can see this manta peering at whoever filmed this. And these are mobulus, which we have a lot of mobulus. Also, sometimes we get big groups of mobulus. This is Mette, our dive-based leader, doing some courses on the beach. And we do all courses from open water, advanced, right up to dive master level. And we usually do very small groups like this, only 2 people, and we make sure that people have a really good learning experience with us. This is Manta Point, and this is a really, really exciting story because for the last 25 years I've been diving this place and it has been bare with no coral at all. In the last 2.5 years we've had this amazing hard coral growth, which is really spectacular, and we will be showing you, because when you come on this trip it is in the manta cleaning station time, and we will be going to Manta Point and seeing the mantas there. And this is our beautiful island, which we're very, very proud of. Very natural, and here's most of our team giving you a good way, wearing the whale shark shirts that you will get also if you come on the trip. Thank you for listening, and we're very excited to be able to share our beautiful diving area with you if you decide to come.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Romney. Also, we have one question. Where is the hotel, and when is a good time to visit to see the whale sharks?
Want me to answer that? The hotel
Yes.
is in South Ariato in Dhigurah, and it's on the lagoon side of Dhigurah, so it's about 5 minutes from the harbour. We have 700 local people living on our island in the village, and we are on the edge of the village on the beach side, the sunset side.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Romney. I did forget to introduce myself at the beginning. I'm Sarah, the product manager at Dive Worldwide and Regal. And also, as you've just seen, there is the Q&A, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. If you have any questions for Romney or Chloe, we'll field them at the end after Chloe's talk, but please just do type them into that box. And I think we are good to see if we can get Chloe going.
So yes, as Sarah and Romney said, my name is Chloe. I work for the Maldives Whale Shark Research Programme. As you can see, we have been present in the Maldives since 2006. It initially began as just an expedition to check out this aggregation, which is very special. So yeah, since then we've been operating. We have years and years of data, which is obviously very important when you want to learn about something so you can protect it. We're registered UK charity, registered Maldivian NGO. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the sharks. Moving on. I know you're all very well versed in what a whale shark is, but it will just help to summarize it quickly. They're obviously the biggest fish, the biggest shark in the ocean. Max scientific size, scientifically measured and accurate size is 18 meters, but there have been credible sightings of larger whale sharks. So very, very amazing to know there's big individuals out there. The sort of maximum estimated age is currently like 130 years. So this size estimation paper was written using our data, so very exciting new science. Whale sharks are deep diving creatures, so the deepest recorded was 1,923 meters, so very, very deep. Obviously, when we're seeing them, we're always seeing them at the surface, but this is a very small window of their lifespan, so a lot of questions because we're not seeing them for so much of their lives. A lot of questions for whale shark science. They prey on plankton. So as you saw in that video, lovely video of Mette and Romney's, they like to eat small critters that live in the water column. And they have a status of endangered on the IUCN Red List. So I won't go through all of these anatomical parts, but just to lead on to our next slide, obviously they're a big spotty shark, and this is very important for basically forming the backbone of our research. So they have an individual spot pattern here. This is the fact that everyone seems to know from the powers of the internet. So yeah, they have a fingerprint, as we call it, fingerprint spot pattern, and this is what helps us to ID them as individuals. So just moving on, if my computer wants to, doesn't seem to be responding to my clicks. So a little bit about our work. So if we to do our research, basically that part, the part of identifying individuals, is very important for us to do our research, because it basically helps us to map the distribution and movement of the sharks, to map the overall health of the sharks. Oh gosh, it went too fast. So here you can see that there's myself and Basit, our lead coordinator, getting the photo ID. So like I said, they're individual spot patterns. We can record this with a camera, so it lends itself really well to citizen science and to you guys even getting involved in taking IDs. So really amazing what different technologies can help us do. So we can monitor them in this nice non-invasive way. And also when I'm usually in encounters, I'll be logging things like estimated length, behaviors, you know, the other wildlife around the shark, and many other things like that. Environmental variables, things like this are very important to building a picture of, you know, the shark itself, but also the environment around it. And here you can see this very cool distribution map, which shows fish gaze movement. So literally just from having photo IDs and, you know, logging where the shark is, you know, people sending us encounter data, we've seen that this individual has moved around South Ari, he's gone up to Bar, he's gone to Tar. It's very exciting. So yeah, as I mentioned in the first slide, South Ari is a very special place. Maldives is a very special place. We see whale sharks all over Maldives, but South Ari, you can see, has the highest number of encounters per atoll. This is because there is a year-round aggregation there. So usually across the world and in other parts of Maldives, like Tar, they're like seasonal aggregations, but South Ari is special in that it is like one of a kind, and they are seen year-round. So very exciting. So you may ask, what are they doing there? What's so special about South Ari? So in our some 15 years of research, we've come to understand this aggregation. It's not, even though we've seen like feeding videos of sharks, it's typically not a feeding aggregation. It's an aggregation where the sharks are cruising. They are coming to South Ari because it is a safe place. It accommodates all of their needs. They can feed at a depth on the plankton, and then they can come up to the shallows and warm up, because obviously down there it's going to be very cold and low in oxygen. So this is what the primary behavior is in South Ari, cruising behavior. So they're kind of a little bit sleepy and lethargic. So that's why it's important to have that distance in encounters and really respect the animal. So yeah, just as Romney mentioned, South Ari MPA, or SAMPA for short, it begins in Dhigurah and extends all the way around to Rangali, or where Conrad, where Manta Point is. So that's about 42 kilometers of protected area, 1 kilometer boundary. So yes, and then you can see all the different points along the map. So we'll be diving all along here, I imagine. So some fast facts and findings just about the whale shark aggregation. It's a largely juvenile population in South Ari, so we're seeing like younger individuals. It's not huge adult individuals, they're still very big, but they're mostly younger ones, between like 5 meters to maybe 8 meters, like Fernando, Adam. These are individuals who like kind of sub-adult now, so they're getting to the sort of 8-meter range. Very, very big. They have the highest resighting rate of individuals in the world. So we see sharks over and over and over again, the same individuals. So not only is it, you know, they have that year-round aggregation, we're seeing individuals over and over, which is exciting. So we can track them very well through the photo ID. There's a heavy male bias. 80% of the South Ari population is male. This is very typical of coastal aggregations of whale sharks. So as I said, when they're younger and smaller, we're seeing them in these kind of coastal aggregations and areas. And when they're adults, they're moving out into like pelagic waters. And this is the part of their lives that we don't know a lot about. The average size in Sampa is 5.56. And new individuals are added every year. In 2020, we added something like 43 individuals. This is mostly because Clara, the charity, had to cease operations in 2020, and me and Clara were basically just finding everyone's whale shark encounters online through the, you know, the wonders of Instagram and the internet, and adding a lot of them. So again, another form of citizen science. It's very cool. Photo ID, this is so this is obviously, like I said, it forms the backbone of our research. It allows us to track individuals. So this is the kind of photo that I'm usually looking for in an encounter. I'll dive down next to the shark parallel, and this is something you guys can help me with, taking photos. You can obviously take your beautiful cinematic ones, but I usually am taking these very functional ones. So yeah, the important area is here. This is Nuali, I believe, very nice shark. And then we're using this software. So this software, I3S, was it was developed based on how NASA maps star constellations. So it's very cool that that technology has become a kind of interdisciplinary way of, you know, it's now used for shark science. So this is what I'll be doing in the evenings to try and find which individuals we saw in the day. Very exciting. And then all that data gets put into our database, the Big Fish Network. So again, this is something that you guys can sort of see the inner workings of a little bit. You know, we can track individuals, like, you know, for instance, if I see Shibon, whale shark 337, input it into BFN, then I can see, oh, somebody else, like a different guest house or liveaboard, they've seen him previously here and he's moved here, here and here. So it's very cool. Again, technology helping us out a lot. So I'm not sure whether you can see because there's a panel. I can just move this panel. So yeah, all of this data, you know, our mission, part of our mission statement is to advance the field of whale shark science. So all of this data gets funneled into, you know, creating outputs, creating scientific outputs. So every year we do a yearly report, which will, you know, basically sum up the year of data. And then we have people come and do their scientific papers with us using our data. And this all really contributes towards advocating for sound conservation policy, because, you know, whale sharks worldwide, they have a whole host of threats. Same in Maldives, like, you know, there's different things that they encounter, injury. I believe this one was taken not in Maldives, but yes, sometimes there are busier encounters, sometimes not. But basically what we're trying to do is, you know, use this data, harness it, pare it down into something that is bite-sized, understandable for, you know, for EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, Maldives, to then take this and, you know, create their policies. Education and outreach is another important part of our work. We don't get to do a lot of it recently because of COVID. So here you can see like a few of our school sessions that I'm usually doing. I mean, this is not something that will take place on the trip, but it's just another aspect of our work because people don't, you know, it's very important to teach people, you know, share with Maldivians. I mean, it's their fish, it's their beautiful fish, their environment, and, you know, the younger generation sometimes, you know, especially girls, maybe they're not like super connected to the ocean. You know, a lot of the boys go out, but yes, sometimes girls and women, they're not particularly familiar with it. So this is something that we would try to do in our Mudakudin school sessions. And you can see here, we actually did an International Whale Shark Day in Dhigurah when we were based there before COVID. Here's a familiar face. This is Mette. She came down and helped out with the day. So these are just some aspects of our research, and I can expand on them when I'm there with you on the trip diving. Thank you for listening. I will stop sharing my screen now and can have any questions. I can see a couple of questions.
Can you see them? If they're, please feel free to answer if you can see them.
Hi Chloe, do you carry out any acoustic or satellite tagging on the sharks? So in the Maldives, tagging is not received like very well. People, I think some things happened in the past where it wasn't communicated effectively. But basically, tagging does not happen in the Maldives. And you know, we like to use the non-invasive photo ID. So that is the gist of that. If the population is mainly juvenile, how long does an average individual stay in the area? So basically, like typically when we're seeing these individuals come to the area, you know, we get younger individuals pop up in the area. We get individuals who come and they're already kind of like around the 5 meter mark. How long do they stay? I mean, we start to see that shift of like maybe individuals being a little bit more absent when they get to like the sort of 8 meter mark, that subadult age. So yeah, maybe like 20 to 25 years old is when they'll start to move away. What is the best time of year for large aggregations? Well, it is a year-round aggregation. It's very kind of, you know, at the end of the day, it's nature. You get whale sharks come all at once. You get, you know, a couple encounters a day. You know, it really varies. And I would not say there is like a best month. Like, yeah, it's year round. It really varies on, you know, on the day. But I would say April is a very good month to come because it's kind of pretty much on the monsoonal change. And I always think this is a really exciting time when you get this sort of more unusual encounters and plankton is about. So hopefully. Any other questions? Oh, I can scroll down. Do you need both sides of the shark to identify or just one side? So we take both sides. I know that in the Philippines, for instance, they say the left side, but we do take both sides of the shark in our encounters. Sometimes, you know, sometimes new sharks are declared, like we declare new sharks if there's just one side sometimes, but we really try to get both so we don't have like duplicates in our database. Where do the Maldivian juveniles go when they get older? This is something I didn't mention in my presentation. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know where, you know, we haven't had a Maldives whale shark pop up in another database. So basically at the end of the year, part of our work is to cross-reference our database, our local database, with the worldwide database, which is Wild Book for Whale Sharks. But so far we have not had a movement outside of the Maldives, which is a shame, but you know, we're waiting one day. Does the moon phase increase sightings? This is something that sometimes people say, like, you know, certain moons, like I know in Hanifera Bay, for instance, they'll say new moon or full moon party, but this, you know, this will attract plankton. Sort of moon variations and phases, we did a paper on it and we found that it doesn't really bear too much weight science wise, so we tend not to say this. After all, it's not like a feeding aggregation as well. It's an aggregation for the whale sharks to thermoregulate to come and rest. So we haven't really noticed any variation with that. I believe that's the end of the questions. If anyone else has any others.
Fantastic, Chloe. Thank you so much for that insight into your work and to the whale shark population of the South Ariat Atoll. It's definitely a very special population. It's great that you're supported from people around the world to be able to carry out those investigations and do all your work locally as well. I know Romney is really big into the whale sharks as well, and their conservation, and very well known in the local population as well. So it's good to be able to work locally with the people on the island and work locally with the animals in the water. Of course, you can go and visit and stay at Romney's Boutique Beach at any time of year, but we put together this special week to tie in to give you guys the best opportunity to see as many whale sharks as possible. And also it's during peak manta ray season, and Romney's going to take you out to Manta Point for the day to get that experience too. So for megafauna enthusiasts, it's really one for the diary. I'm just going to put the slide up now of there's a lot more to it, but the highlights, I guess, of what's included in the trip, and Romney and Chloe can perhaps talk you through what will happen during the week.
Yeah. So usually we would go
I'll
to
just
the
try to get the
Welsh
slide.
area maybe a couple of times a week, but during this week, this is a special week, we are going to focus on the whale shark, and having Chloe on board is obviously different to how we normally trade and how we normally dive. So it's fantastic to have her on board and have her be able to see the whale shark encounters as we see them and able to identify them in that day or hopefully very soon afterwards. So that is what's different about this week, and it's really exciting to be able to focus completely on the whale shark this week. So basically we've got 8 days. We'll spend 3 or 4 days out in the whale shark area, spending the whole day on the boat with lunch on the boat, and we'll be diving and snorkeling with the whale sharks. We will do 2 boat dives a day. You'll have a full board meal plan, which means all of your meals plus your water, soft drinks and fresh fruit juices with meals all provided. There will be free nitrox for any qualified nitrox divers. And of course, the big thing is we've got Chloe with us. We've got a chance to name a whale shark. So if we see a new whale shark, we will have a competition of the people who were there that week to name that whale shark. And that happened this week. So only this week, the whale shark that was coming around our boat for over 25 minutes was a brand new whale shark. And we are coming up with a name as we speak.
You have 2 new whale sharks.
Yeah, we had 2 new, but on that particular day, we had the one out of the 3. One of them was brand new, which was very, very exciting and was very interested in our boat. Just went round and round the boat for about 25 minutes, looking up at us. It was incredible.
I love those encounters. Oh.
And then we'll have a day trip to Manta Point, because this is the Manta Point is the cleaning station time is March and April is the absolute peak. So as well as seeing an amazing coral growth at Manta Point, we will be able to go there and visit and see how many mantas we can find as well. On top of that, we will take you to Dhigurah Island, which is our #1 pinnacle dive and is a spectacular dive with all that hunting. So you are really seeing the best that South Ariat Atoll has to offer, and particularly focused on whale sharks. Okay, Sarah, have I missed anything?
No, I think that's more than enough to get people excited about going. As I say, we've already got 6 people on. This is quite a limited numbers trip, a very special, focused on the whale sharks, like you say. So it's a real exclusive opportunity to have a very personal service, and for me, one of the best in water experiences that we offer with the experts around. So let's hope we get more people booking up after this. We're also looking at doing it next year as well. So there'll be more about that in the coming months, but let's see how this one goes first, and hopefully we can get everyone there to have a great time and talk about it. I've just got one question for Chloe about photography of the whale sharks. I'm quite an amateur. I've done my paddy photography, but I also try and take a little GoPro around, as well as a snap and shoot kind of thing. Is there anything, do you need such experience to be able to help with citizen science? You'll obviously give us some tips.
Yeah, I mean, no, you don't need sometimes people they get worried about the pictures they've taken, and what I would just say is, keep a distance, go down parallel to the shark. With cameras, like I used to use an Olympus TG5, worked really well. GoPros, like I know, a lot of people set it to wide lens, and it still collects all the pixel information. Like it's, whatever camera you use, it's generally fine as long as it's not ancient. But yes, I usually edit them as well, bring up the contrast and clarity a bit. But yeah, I wouldn't worry. I'd say it's quite difficult if you've got like when you've got one of those big heavy cameras, like sometimes it can be quite difficult to maneuver. But yeah, I mean, it's a
Often
whale.
we have to be quick. When we see the whale shark, we have to get quick, and being maneuverable and having a GoPro really makes it a lot easier for you. The only other thing that I would add is that we do not use flash ever with either manta or whale sharks. So everything is filmed without flash.
Yes.
As per the guidelines.
Yes, as per guidelines. There are whale shark guidelines that I'll run through those, and when you're on the trip, and talk about code of conduct, because a lot of the time code of conduct is what will give you a good encounter, or if people break it, then the whale shark will just leave. So yes, but I've always seen amazing code of conduct from Boutique Beach, so it's fine. Like everyone's very good. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you for that. And also it's open for snorkelers as well. There'll be opportunity for those who don't know how to breathe underwater yet. So I mean, just in terms of arrival in the Maldives and getting to the island and having the opportunity to meet the local people as well, I wondered if you could just give us a little insight into that journey, please.
Well, things have been a bit different over the last couple of years. I'm not sure exactly how much it will change by the time we get to August, but normally we have a lot to do with the local island. We have 700 people living on the island, and I think the big change in 2012 was that the government said that you could build hotels and guest houses on local islands, which meant that the money coming into the Maldives through tourism didn't just go to resorts, 5-star resorts, where the money was not necessarily felt disappearing down to the local economy. Here on our island, all of our local people, a lot of them are involved in the guest house tourism economy, and their whole lives have changed in that they have money coming directly to them now, and a lot of them have changed the way they live, in that they're not living on resorts and just coming home once a year. They're able to actually live at home. Many of them have built their own little guest houses. We have a lot to do with both the medical centre and the school. So obviously the last 2 years has been a bit difficult, but we have still been able to contribute to the medical centre's new lab, where we're able to test now for things like diabetes and pregnancy, which before had to go to Mali for anybody to get a result. So we believe we are part of the village, and we take part in a lot of the local village volleyball tournaments, for instance. And I personally take part in the prize giving at the school. And we work to help the education side of the school. So not just about whale sharks, but about plastic in particular, and teaching their parents, like everywhere in the world, the kids are the ones who have to lead the way to get rid of the plastic pollution. We are very lucky here. It's not like a lot of other places in the world where there's a lot of plastic pollution. We do not have as much, but in this hotel, we have actively worked to avoid it and to reduce how much plastic we're buying in. Our new water bottles have saved thousands of water bottles over the last year. But we will actively, hopefully, we'll be able to take people into the village by then and show them the crafts that take part here, and how every single part of a coconut palm can be used for something, which is quite amazing. But we will, hopefully, we'll be able to get into the village and show people what Maldivian real life is about on a real village.
Fantastic, that's great to hear. There's a couple more questions come in. We'll just, if anyone else has got any more, please just type them in. I'm just going to start with asking Roy. I think Roy, you put your hand up. If you could type your question in again, that would be great, please. And also we've got one from Shara about, I don't know if you guys can see it, but thank you very much for the presentations. Do you serve alcohol, and can vegetarian diets be catered for? And
vegetarian, Sorry, go on.
And also the local dive sites often see lots of current.
Right, okay, so first of all, let's go through. So vegetarian, not a problem. We look after and we ask you on the day you arrive in the hotel whether you have any particular issues with anything allergic issues with food, but also particular diet. So the good thing about having a boutique hotel is that we can look after you personally, and we can direct the chefs to make sure that you get the food that you are able to eat. In terms of current, yes, we do have current, but we do not take anybody in a heavy current area, and we always tailor where we're taking people according to their skills. So it's only really in the Pinnacle area where we would experience current that is stronger than you probably experience in UK. But when we go along the whale shark area, which is the outer reef, you just drift with the current. Here, we jump in the water, we just drift with the current, and the boats pick us up at the other end. So it's very easy. You're not fighting the current, you're just drifting with it, and it's like flying. It's wonderful. What was the third one?
It was the old diver's question about alcohol.
Oh, I'm afraid, no, we're on a Muslim island, and therefore we have no alcohol. On the last day, hopefully, there will be an opportunity to take people who want alcohol to a local resort. At the moment, we aren't able to do that, but hopefully by April, we will be able to get back to normal. And there is an opportunity then to take you for alcohol. But on our island, it's a Muslim island. I'm afraid we're going to be doing your detox for you and getting you free of alcohol for a whole week. And it's very good for you and for your body.
Excellent. I understand you serve some lovely mocktails as well. So
we do, and we have really lovely fresh juices with every meal, fresh fruit juices.
I think it's by the end of the week, everyone will have forgotten about alcohol, to be honest.
I don't think about it at all until I get home, and then I'm ordering wine before I'm even there.
Fab. Roy did have his hand up. He was asking about the current COVID requirements at the moment. Roy, I'm not sure if you're travelling soon or not, but who knows what will happen by April. But there are protocols in place, and I'm sure Romney can just give you a brief update on what's happening on the COVID side.
Yeah, at the moment, coming into the Maldives, you would need a COVID test at the moment, but who knows what's happened by April. When you're staying here, we take your temperatures morning and afternoon, morning and evening at our meeting. And we just use a temperature gun, and we have temperature bingo, so we guess your temperature. And then when just before you leave, anybody leaving a local island is requested to have a PCR test at the moment, because obviously the government wants to know if there's any transmittance into the local population. And at the moment, not one guest at Boutique Beach has tested positive, but obviously we are able to cope with it if it did happen. But by April, I'm sure it's all going to be a lot different anyway. It's changing every day these days. So by the time we get to April, who knows? Exactly.
And for anyone who is travelling with us soon, the sales team are really up to date, and the operations team. So, if you've got any worries, just do get in touch with us. We send you all that information with your departure docs, and keep in touch with you during your stay if things do change. So just peace of mind there. Don't worry about that. We've got you covered. I think if anyone does have any last minute questions, please just type them in. Also, there's a small poll one question poll that I've put up in case anybody does want to receive the information about the trip specifically for that, the travel plan. Please just check the box there. Oh, maybe I'll just launch that, shall I? There we go. Sorry. If you guys could just yes or no, that'd be brilliant. Those of you who have been on one of our Zoom calls before, we often follow up, or we do follow up. My colleague Sue in marketing follows up with an email. She'll probably do that today or first thing Monday. Thank you all for coming along, and there will be a little incentive to book onto this trip as well. So please look out for that. In other news, we do have more talks coming up. You don't get me every time. I think Phil is up next, and he'll be with some of our partners in Belize next week. And then we've got one on Grenada and one on St. Helena, where there are also some whale sharks. but it's quite difficult to get there at the moment. So we'll talk about their population, and they're one of the, I guess, the most, the newest, that's the wrong word.
They're very scientifically interesting, St.
Yeah.
Helena.
Yeah, so that's very exciting to us. Couple more things coming in, but I believe that's just thank you very much to you both for your talks. Just check, Lee.
Thank you for having me.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you. We've enjoyed it.
Excellent. Martin's asked what local arrangements if someone tests positive. Again, I guess we cross that bridge when that happens, but there are protocols in place. That'd be right, Romney?
Well, we have it, yeah, there are protocols, but also we have a free insurance that we offer any guest staying with us, so that if you did test positive, that would look after your accommodation costs if you had to quarantine.
Cool. And Andrea's asked, the transfer from Marley is plane and boat.
It's a speedboat, yeah. There's big speedboats with like 3 or 4 engines on the back. They can make it across the channel in about 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's direct to our harbour.
Sure. And for this trip, we're going to fly people over and then to the island, I believe.
Okay, the plane takes less than 20 minutes, and then there's a short speedboat ride from the airport.
Yeah. That answers Andrea. Andrea, if you just check the yes box, we can send you all the details about this particular trip idea. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much to you both again, and we look forward to seeing you there. And look forward to people booking to go and see Romney and Chloe out in the Maldives. Very jealous.
Chloe can't wait to get back out here, can you, Chloe?
Can't wait. Yes. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
I hope that's brightened up the start of your weekend, everybody. Have a great time. And thank you.
You.
Bye.
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 Bye.